Hey friends, Anna Wilson here, and as my conclusion to the series of videos that I've been doing about the STR ballot measures, I wanted to share my why. Why I, as a fairly introverted, quiet person, have been sticking my neck out there, my face, my name, my reputation, which hasn't been easy, and why I've been devoting so much of my time to this campaign. There are a lot of reasons behind my passion on this topic, but first and foremost, it's because as a real estate agent, I work primarily with locals. And this year, I've been involved in a variety of deed restricted home, condo, and land sales and leases, both as an official agent and as a pro bono consultant. And as a deed restricted homeowner myself, and as someone who's been put through the ringer of moving several times per year before I was fortunate enough to land in my forever home, I'm passionate about helping other locals find the housing stability that I have. So obviously, I'm frustrated when I'm not able to help someone find housing. And unfortunately, that's happened more than I'd like to admit this year. So when the 300 camp started the Tell Your Neighbor Instagram up this summer with the message that they were working on a housing initiative for the ballot, I was thrilled because we need to spotlight this problem and work together to find solutions. So I reached out to them right away. I sent them a message and asked them to get together to discuss how the real estate community can help support what they were working on. And they responded that they'd be in touch, but I never heard anything else until a few weeks later. They announced 300 the same day that they started collecting signatures. No community discussion, no opportunity for input, just here it is, sign here, press hard. Of course, we'd be remiss not to mention that we wouldn't be here having this discussion without their efforts, and that deserves serious credit. Their intention is good, there's no doubt about that, but it's not the solution that will work in our community for all the reasons that I've been sharing over the last few months. And in my opinion, the worst part of all of this has been the division that is created. The online arguments, the attacks, the us versus them, the real estate and lodging industries are evil. It got out of hand really fast from day one. So in an attempt to combat that, in August, I hosted a community roundtable discussion in an effort to bring us together away from our screens and really hear each other. And it worked. About 60 people showed up from both sides, and we had a solid, productive, respectful conversation. My biggest overall takeaways from that discussion was, first of all, that we all want the same thing. We all want to provide more affordable workforce housing, but also that even the strongest supporters of 300 weren't 100% on board with it exactly as it was written. Whether their issue was with the number of licenses, the lost tax revenue, or the lottery aspect, it was evident that compromise was really needed. And had that conversation happened before 300's petition was finalized and put to paper, we could have worked together as a community to find that compromise and a less divisive path forward. But thankfully, at that point, the lodging community was already hard at work to get an alternative on the ballot. And in creating Measure 2D, they listened to the needs of our community as a whole. They heard the desire to cap short-term rentals and did so at a less aggressive rate that wouldn't cost locals their jobs, won't harm the festivals and events that we all love, or cut our tax revenue that funds affordable housing. They also added even more funding to go directly toward providing more affordable housing for our workforce. So to put it simply, 2D is what 300 should have been from the beginning. And that's why I've been so passionate about supporting 2D. It just makes sense. It gives us time to pause, listen, learn, and truly understand the impacts of short-term rentals on our community before we take drastic action. And that's what 300 is missing: understanding, research. It's all based on assumption, and that's not good enough for me. And I don't think it's good enough for you either. So that's all. That's why I'm here. Thanks for listening. I'm always available if you have any questions. And no matter what happens on November 2nd, I hope that the Telluride community will be able to come together and keep listening to each other, because this is such an important conversation. Thanks, y'all.